The Red Rock door hanger brackets are a great solution for 1997 and newer Jeep Wrangler TJ, JK, and JL owners looking to safely store their doors when they are removed. If you enjoy the open air experience of your Wrangler but need a secure, space-saving storage solution for your doors, these brackets are going to be an excellent option. Designed specifically for storing Wrangler doors, these brackets allow you to store 2 doors off the ground, preventing scratches, dents, and other damage. Instead of leaving your doors leaning against the wall, taking up floor space, these heavy-duty brackets keep them mounted securely and out of the way. They mount directly to any garage wall, shop wall, or maybe a post outside, keeping your door safely out of the way while remaining easily accessible. The design ensures that the brackets support the door weight and keeps them stored out of harm's way. These brackets are made from heavy-duty steel, and they offer excellent strength and durability. This black powder coat finish not only gives them a sleek, low-profile appearance, but also resists corrosion, ensuring they hold up over time, even in those really humid environments like the shop or the garage. The brackets are precision formed for a perfect fit, making them reliable for long-term use and keeping those doors safe. Now, as far as pricing goes on these brackets, they're coming in right around that $50 price range, which in my opinion is a great price point for the security of keeping your doors safe and out of harm's way when they are off your Jeep. Installing these Red Rock door hanger brackets is going to be a quick and straightforward process, requiring only basic hand tools and a secure wall or surface for mounting. The process takes only about 30 minutes, and you mount them using these pre-drilled holes on the back of the plates. So we're giving this a simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on a difficulty meter. Now let's see exactly how these go up with an install video from one of our ExtremeTerrain.com customers.
You need a minimum of 2 3/8 inch by 3 inch long lag bolts. All right. Now I'll go ahead and tell you, I'll be using 4 total per bracket there, so 8 in total between 2 brackets. But if you are going to go ahead and grab bolts, completely okay. Just make sure it's 3/8 inch by 3 inch, and you will need to drill that pilot hole with a 15/64 inch pilot drill bit there. And if you are going to do the bolts themselves, you will need a 9/16 wrench. So I am using 8 total of the screws, and these are Torx bit screws. I'll be using a T30 Torx there. Drill, highly suggested. I would say it's required. You'll need a tape measure, a stud finder, a level, laser level if you have one, something to mark out your measurements, and then just something to get into the packaging there. We're gonna go ahead and find our studs. We're gonna mark our studs. Okay, so I'm gonna be using my stud finder, tape measure, just so I can kind of see what the distance is. Generally, studs are 16 to 24 inches apart. Instructions call for at least 2 bolts or screws or implements to keep these to the wall. Highly suggest 4 just for safety, because if you do not get that measurement right, if something happens, your door falls, you're kind of out of luck with that, okay? So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I do wanna measure the width of the door. So what does not matter is the total width of the door. It might matter for your distance away from the wall here, right? But again, this is why I brought the doors out, so I can just see, okay, I know it's inside this mark where I want it, and then I know the stud is somewhere down here that I'll need to be, okay? But what does matter is your height, because you're gonna need that height plus whatever from your garage floor or cement wall or whatever, right? You know, a couple inches. I would basically say measure your door height. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure my door height. So door height looks like it's about 45 inches. So if I we'll go ahead and call it 4 feet, 48 inches, then that's pretty safe to me. If I can get 48 inches, then I'll be happy with that. So 48 inches is my magic mark there, okay? So what I am gonna do is make a mark for 48 inches, just so I kind of know where 48 inches is across the board, all right? So putting that there, I know that 48 inches is about right there. I can look over when I'm finding my studs, and I know where that's gonna be. I'm just gonna do a couple of these, just so I know where that 48 is. So you guys can see here, working it out 48. I don't know where the stud is right this second. Again, I'm just marking so I can see kind of a general level of where I'm gonna be. So, gonna find these studs. So again, I can see based on how I have these kind of lined up against the wall, which is why I suggest doing it like this. So you can look at it and how to see where your spacing you want it to be, and then hopefully the studs line up around there, right? So this is inside the wall. I want it as close and mesh with this wall as I can possibly get it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, find the studs over here. Right here. So there's a stud right here. So that's perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark that. All right, now that I have that marked, it's on my plane of 48 inches that I want it. All right, so that's not quite 48 inches, right? But stud's gonna go up so I can see where that bottom position is, right? So I'm gonna put the bottom of this bracket at 48 inches, right? Because that's where I measure I'd like it. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my level on top of the bracket here. All right, so I see this is where I want it. I'm gonna line up that center of the bracket. So you guys won't be able to see this, but I'm putting my level on the inside of this bracket versus the top. If you have a laser level or someone to help you, that works too. So I'm gonna line up this, make sure I get this 100% where I want it. All right, and that's even. So I'm making my 4 marks for the bolts there, and I got those in place. So this is where I was talking about the difference between the bolts and the screws. So I do not need bolts, I don't need a pilot to make my holes. I got four slots in here to get what I need to get. All right, 4 lag screws. Bolts if you'd like, I'm using screws. So I'm gonna start drilling this with the top T30 drill bit here, all right? So I know where I'm going, it's marked out, and I can make adjustments if I need to. All right, that looks pretty solid right there. Because you are in a stud, that should not be moving, all right? Gonna make sure it's level, and I'll be doing the bottom one next. All right, so measurements look good. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom screw. All right, 2's feel pretty good. So these 2 on the right and the left are not gonna be in studs. They work the same. All right, so with that, I would definitely give this a test. Give it a nice pull down, because you don't want your door to be doing the test driving on that stress test. All right, you go ahead and put the door on it. Make sure everything fits how I like it. All right, so slightly uneven there, the door at least, but that's okay, because you can move the door to fit how you need. And that's pretty much right where I wanted it. Yep, that's a solid first step there. And again, giving me that distance that I was looking for down there.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our review and install of the Red Rock door hanger brackets for the 1997 and newer Wrangler TJ, JK, and JLs. And for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.